a more, it's almost like you're talking about the world of sports. Like, is there a franchise that has less stability and more chaos going on? In the world of movies, is there a franchise that is less stable or has more chaos going on around it than the Star Wars franchise? Nobody knows what's going on with this franchise right now. I mean, they announce movies, they get canceled. Then they say they're doing more, and then they come out and say, oh yeah, you know that thing that divided the Star Wars fan base every bit as much as the prequels did?
Double down.
Yeah, let's do another Rey movie. And listen, I love Daisy Ridley. I think Daisy Ridley's great. I think Rey can be a very interesting character. But I am still flabbergasted that they decided to go into a direction that is clearly going to be very divisive for the fan base. But whatever. Well, in as much as a lot of toxic Star Wars fans have chased off some of the great filmmakers from ever wanting to touch Star Wars again, a very interesting name has come out and said, sign me up. I want to do a Star Wars movie. That's John Wick's Chad Stahleski. This is what he said. This comes from the folks at Variety who said this. He says, look, I'm a Star Wars guy. Like, the first Star Wars changed my life, he said. Maybe someday out there, Disney, if you're listening, hit me in a couple of years and I have a couple of takes for Star Wars I'd love to take a swing at. I challenge you. See if Disney could survive me, he added. And listen, this isn't the first time that Chad has talked about Star. He's gone on and waxed poetic before, historically, about his love of Star Wars and where he draws a lot of his influence from and all that kind of stuff. Now, it is never a news story to say, newsflash, actor wants role. Or newsflash, director would like studio job. But given the turmoil and chaos that is the Star Wars universe right now, to have a director like this step up. Now, granted, Chad is not Martin Scorsese. You know, he's not Steven Spielberg. He's not, Guillermo del Toro. He's not whatever, but he's a respected amongst the fan community directing name who's taken what should have been a throwaway, cheap, forgettable action film and turned it into one of the most exciting action franchises we've had in recent memory with the John Wick franchise. And now he's saying, I would love to take a crack at Star Wars. He's not just saying, yeah, I'd be open to it, or, if somebody came to me with the right idea. No. He's saying, I'd love to take a swing at Star Wars. Disney, are you listening? I want to take a swing at Star Wars. Give me a shot. I think that's interesting. Jonathan and I were talking about this before the show started today. And whereas I don't think you give, say, Chad Stahleski a Star Wars Episode 10 or something like that, there are some really cool stories, fun stories that you could do in the world of Star Wars. Hell, I said to Jonathan, take the oldest kung fu trope there is, the only kung fu. Listen, every kung fu movie you've ever seen has this plot line. Young warrior's master has been murdered and now he's seeking revenge. I just described the drunken master. I've just described every kung fu movie you've ever seen. But you take that and apply that to Star Wars and let Chad Stahleski direct that? Sign me up. I'd be down for that. Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's episode, MasterClass. Everyone, it's a new year, so picture that thing that you've always wanted to learn. Now, picture learning it from a person who's literally one of the best in the world at it, and that's what you get with MasterClass. This year, learn from the best to become your best with MasterClass. Don't just talk about improving, MasterClass helps you actually do it. Because MasterClass offers over 180 world-class instructors, so whether you want to master negotiation with Chris Voss, like I did, think like a boss with Martha Stewart, or learn the art of storytelling from the man himself, Neil Gaiman, MasterClass has you covered. Because with MasterClass, you get unlimited access to intimate one-on-one classes with the world's best. At MasterClass, there are over 200 classes to pick from, with new classes being added every month. And if you're a viewer of the John Campea Show, you probably love movie making, storytelling, television. So you'd be totally interested in things like screenwriting from Aaron Sorkin, learn developing original TV series from Stranger Things' The Duffer Brothers, or maybe you like the music side of movies, well, you can learn film scoring from Hans Zimmer. And right now, our listeners will get an additional 15% off an annual membership at masterclass.com masterclass.com/Campea. Get 15% off right now at masterclass.com/Campea. masterclass.com/Campea.
You know how you could get the entire planet behind Star Wars in literally one announcement? One announcement with Mr. Stahleski. They announce a new Star Wars trilogy directed by Stahleski, starring Keanu Reeves as the lead Jedi in Knights of the Old Republic.
I did say Knights of the Old.
That's exactly what Jonathan said.
I said Knights of the Old Republic.
I mean, that's it. You announced that those two guys. Keanu Reeves looks like a Jedi Knight already.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, he's the perfect age. I don't remember all the lore back from when I was playing the game, but that's what you do. The problem is Kathleen Kennedy doesn't know what Knights of the Old Republic is. You know, these people, they don't know the old school, the expanded universe. You announce that, you could go make your Rey movie. Nobody would say anything. Go make the Rey movie. I'm hoping it's great. You go make the Rey movie. You want to turn the tide? Suddenly, and you, by the way, you announce the next thing you do is you have a writing staff that's going to write all three movies, and you get the best writers in Hollywood to do it. The best writers. And I don't quite know. I'd have to sit down and say who those would be. But, you know, I mean, maybe Chris McQuarrie and Craig Mazin working together to write those three movies.
Unfortunately, Christopher McQuarrie has said he'll never do a Star Wars movie because
I know, but he would. This is the one thing he'd be bulletproof if you put these right. Because Chris McQuarrie won an Academy Award for writing The Usual Suspects. You get, and I know he's directing now.
He still loves to write, though.
I know, and I'll bet you if you brought in these three writers, take your pick. I'd say McQuarrie would be one. I would, and you find that, and you know what? Then you get Marcus and McFeely, who wrote Winter Soldier, films, Civil War, Endgame, and Infinity War and Endgame. Get those three guys to do it.
Maybe McQuarrie would get like an executive producer, and he could like script consult or something like that. If he didn't want a footprint,
or McQuarrie, Stahleski does 1 and 3, and McQuarrie does 2, and they all work together cohesively, and they shoot them all at the same time, like Lord of the Rings.
Now, of course, McQuarrie's a little busy for the next 6 or 7 years.
Yeah, but you know what?
That's the other problem with Craig Mazin too, is that he's kind of.
But you know, you make the villain in this trilogy that squares off against Keanu Reeves. Tom effing Cruise is the evil Jedi or the evil Sith Lord. Keanu Reeves versus Tom Cruise in Knights of the Old Republic.
I can see it now, Darth Stumpy.
I'm telling you, dude. I'm telling you, you get McQuarrie and Stahleski together. I'm telling you, this is a slam dunk. People would go bananas.
At the end, Tom
judge
Cruise
me
does
by
a little
my
dance.
size, do you? And where you should not, because I am the Sith. Come on,
It was
man.
funny because Jonathan, prior to us doing the show, Jonathan and I were talking about this. He brought up this whole idea. I mean, look, it would ravenously. First of all, you just get hit. Just start with Chad. I think that would get people very excited and interested. You get the right concept for it, something that would be lore heavy and action heavy. Not so much drama heavy, but lore and action. And those are things Chad can do in spades. And if you wanted to do it and add a Keanu Reeves, because, you know, Keanu was getting close to 60, or is he past 60 already?
Yeah. And here's what you do.
But doing a Jedi, he can do that no problem.
They were best friends as children. And you chart the course of two men that go on a different path than each other. And the whole thing is these are two men. You just
described Ben-Hur. Did you realize that?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
I love it.
Maybe that's why, because I watched it on Christmas Eve.
Yeah, that's great.
Or New Year's Eve. And you have these two men that go. As a matter of fact, there's your template.
Yep.
The way
Star
Lucas
Wars
looked at
version of
Kurosawa, you make Ben-Hur in the Star Wars universe as Knights of the Old Republic.
Instead of joining or going deeper in the Romans, he joins the Empire or whatever that equivalent would
and he
be
leads,
in the Old
come
Republic.
with, oh, dude, there it is. Dude, I'm getting chills. Let's announce it. We should make this movie.
We should make this movie right now. So hopefully this is something they can pull, because I would love to see. Now, obviously, Chad's got a couple of projects on the go right now. That's why I said hit me up in a couple of years. But I'm telling you, if I'm an exec at Lucasfilm, I am calling this guy right now and saying, what will it take for us to get you to put your other stuff on pause, and let's get rock and rolling and developing something here? That's what I would do.
I just want to bring Drew Struzan out of retirement to paint a poster of Keanu Reeves as a Jedi Master and Tom Cruise as a Sith Lord with his hair from Mission Impossible 2, squaring off against one another, lightsabers a-clashing, with armies behind them. It's the Lord of the Rings of the Star Wars franchise. I'm getting excited. This is never going to happen, but
he's just screaming in the Jedi, in the Sith temple, I want the truth.
you can't handle the truth.
Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.